Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Strange Girl 831 and today I wanted to talk to you guys a bit about how to stay inspired, how I find inspiration, and how to work on developing your own art style. Now, I'm just gonna get straight into it because honestly, I've filmed this voiceover now 8 times and I keep getting it keeps glitching out or not recording properly. So I've had to redo it like 8 times now, so hopefully 8th time is a charm. Now a bit about the artwork that I'm working on in the background here. If you followed my art at all, you'll notice that this is more of an unfinished piece than pretty much anything else I film or I post. And I thought that was a good place to start for what we're going to be talking about today. Now, I put together a list for you guys of some of the main things that I do to stay inspired and develop my art style, and I figured I would share them with you. Now, if you want to see what the finished piece looks like of this artwork here, it is on my Instagram, of course, as well as everything else that I draw or paint or pretty much anything, so go ahead and check it out. That is at StrangeGirl831. Also, I will be posting regularly. I swear I'm gonna get on it. The beginning of this year has been literally insane so far, but I do plan to be posting twice a week, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure your notifications are turned on so you don't miss out on that. And if you like these little chats, hit that thumbs up button so I know that this is the content you guys want to see. Because honestly, if I'm just talking to myself and no one's getting anything from it, I see no point in doing it. So, with that introduction being said, we're going to talk about how to stay inspired and how to find inspiration as well as developing your own personal art style. I'm going to run through this list pretty quick because a lot of it is pretty simple, and again, I have gone through this list now 8 times, so let's get into it. Now, the first and foremost step that I find to be the most beneficial is creating what I call an About Me page, which would be a page of things that you personally are passionate about and you love, and things you are visually attracted to. Now, for example, my list, some of the things on it are piercings, tattoos, crazy, long, and colorful hair, pets, reptiles, or pretty much any other animals, plants, bright colors, fandoms, such as Harry Potter, Nightmare Before Christmas, etc., crystals, things like that. And the reason I suggest you make a physical list of this stuff, actually physically write it down, is so when you are creating art pieces, you can look back at it and immediately you have a whole list of elements that you already love that you could add to your artwork. For example, most of the character drawings that I draw usually have bright hair. The color schemes are usually very bright, or that's what I intend them to be. Often there's piercings, or you see little fangs, or in this case, this character has ears, things like that. But then you have a working list to go through to help add more dynamic elements to your pieces. And don't just write down the list and then forget about it. Make sure you're always updating it, because you're gonna start remembering things or coming across things where you're like, oh yeah, I really love how that looks. So make sure you're adding those to that list as well. And incorporate those things. If you love the art, it's going to show. And I can't stress that part enough. If you love what you're creating and you love the concepts, people who see your art are going to be able to tell that you love it. And that's what matters. Because if you don't love it, there isn't a lot of reason to create it. So, moving on, another big one I wanted to talk about was social media. In my case, I use Instagram and Pinterest a lot. If you've watched my other videos, you'd know that. And when it comes to social media, some of my tips involve that are make sure you're following your favorite artists so that their stuff is showing up on your newsfeed and you're getting that constant refresh of inspiration. The other thing I wanted to add is make sure you're also checking out the Explore page on Instagram. Honestly, I think I spend more time on my Explore page than I do on my newsfeed. Because I can get lost for hours, honestly, on the Explore page. Because things that you're not actively following still show up there. Things that you wouldn't think to actively look for show up there. And I have found some amazing pieces that never showed up on my newsfeed, but they were in that Explore section. And while you're on social media or online or anything, if you see visual aspects that you love that you'd like to incorporate into your art too, make sure you're writing them down and be specific. Like, for example, in this piece, you can see that she has slit irises, which they're supposed to kind of look like, for example, snake eyes. And I love this concept because I saw it in some old, really bad monster movie. I can't remember what it was, but I just love the look of humans with like snake eyes, which is why I incorporate it. And it's little things like that that'll make the difference. But make sure you're keeping track of them, keeping notes of them, or little sketches, anything just to help you remember, so you can at least try incorporating it in your art. And if you incorporate it and you end up not liking it, that's totally fine. You don't need to incorporate it again, but at least you tried. So keep those little things in mind. And lastly, when it comes to social media, share your art, guys. And I know that can be a little intimidating, but you don't have to share it on your personal social media. For example, my Instagram is just for art. And yes, I do post some things in my life, like my bearded dragons or things like that. But I don't post pictures of my kids or myself. So it's completely anonymous. And either you can create another social media account just for that, or you could even go onto a site like DeviantArt and post anonymously from an anonymous account. But make sure you're sharing it, because getting into those art communities can be so beneficial. You can get constructive criticism. Seeing those reactions come in keeps you inspired, knowing that people are liking what you're doing. But also keep in mind that reactions may not come right away. If you have small social media accounts, sometimes people aren't seeing your art. So it may not be that people don't like your art. It may just be that they aren't seeing it yet. So it does take time to grow your Instagram or any other social media. But make sure you're sharing it, guys. Art's not meant to stay locked up in a book. Share it online. Share it with your friends, family. Just make sure you're getting it out there, because those people could give you insight to those pieces that you hadn't thought of before. And honestly, it feels so great when people love the stuff that you're creating. Now, this next one may be a bit controversial. I'm not exactly sure why, or the thought process behind it, but that is using reference photos. Now, I guess some people see using reference photos as cheating or